I love playing the Roblox game FLICKERRR, where you're either on a good team or a bad team. Like, good team, bad team. And then there's a neutral, but that hasn't been released yet. Essentially, you're trying to either help the murderer or stop the murder, and somebody gets murdered every time. So it's interesting. You can just look up on the FLICKERRR wiki because it's very complex if you want to know more, like FLICKERRR kind of stuff. Like it's really fun though. It's I would highly recommend playing it if you have Roblox. So let's get started. I'm doing it in alphabetical order. So and as you see, S, A, B, C, D, E, F. So anyway, assassin. Okay, so the thing about assassins, it's like the murderer. It's like the murderer, but the assassin only gets to kill one person in the whole game. The murderer can like kill, but it can't be blocked by the medic's ability. So the medic can, but let me explain why this isn't actually as good as I think it is. Essentially, if you're an assassin player, you're either going to use your kill at the very beginning, where it's not gonna do anything, or you're gonna wait until the last possible second, in which at that point you're probably gonna get voted out already, and you never know for sure who it is. Right? You might vote somebody out you think is the psychic, but also who actually is the dark psychic who is helping you. So that's the thing. Think about this card. In a perfect situation where the medic blocks the person the murderer tries to murder, which is very unlikely, and then the same would happen in the assassin, except the assassin would succeed. So it's not like it's bad exactly. It's helping essentially, but you know, I'm gonna put this in. It's helping. I'm gonna put this in the middle. Are you helping? So it helps, but it's really just not perfect. It's really not that handy. Its ability is interesting if there was more like if there was more of like a chance that the medic would block the murderer's ability anyway. And remember, you use it for an important kill, which is something that is very hard to do because you're trying to either get the medic or the psychic or maybe the savior, but I have my own problems with the savior, which I'll get to later. Anyway, so it's in the middle because it can be good, but it also doesn't always be good. Okay, so clown. This is gonna be the first neutral in the game when it's released. It's basically its goal is to get the character going to get voted out, and then they get to drag one person down with them. So this means that they could essentially be helping either the good team, or they could help either the good team or bad team, but it could also be just like a revenge mission type thing. So they could try and drag down the murderer, or I guess the medic or the psychic or somebody for their team. I would say this is above average, but mainly for the fact that it's like you can help whoever you want, and it really is like if you have the proper skills, it can do it. There's not really a way. It's just like an upgraded survivor. Maybe in the middle would be better for this. If I'm gonna put this in above average, I should put assassin there too. No, I'm just gonna put them both in the middle. I think that's good. They're both very like handy in certain situations. Oh, so the dark psychic. This is awesome. This is a great card. Even if though it's exactly the same psychic, it's just like an opposite team. So the fact is that often you'll try to trick the savior into saving you after you die by putting in your journal that you're the psychic, but you're actually the dark psychic. Your goal in this game is to help the evil team by doing that, which is very it's very handy to have a dark psychic on your side in certain situations. Especially, I've never really experienced something where it changes the good game, but I would say this is definitely above average for the psychic, simply because there's a lot of tricks and ways you can get ahead of different people, especially the savior. The evil team also has an advantage with kind of that, because there's more trust. Like if you private message someone, you know they're like an evil team, and you say, I'm this person, there's more trust among the evil team essentially, I would say. I know this sounds weird, but there's more trust because they all are trying to accomplish the same thing versus the others who are just trying to not get voted out. In essence, I guess it makes sense if you're trying to not get voted out. It makes sense for the evil team because they're all basically trying to help the murderer, versus the good team where they're trying to save everybody. But it's more like if you just the good team, like there is communication, there's more trust, but you don't like let's put it this way, the evil team has a lot of stuff going for like, why would you lie to somebody about being on the evil team if you know they're on the evil team? Because you couldn't know if you're on the evil team unless you are specifically on the evil team. I'm getting off topic here, but this is the point. Like, Dark Psychic, really above average, I would say, but not really, really great. So the detective, they get clues, and they can put them in their journal, but it often gets hashtagged and stuff. I would say this is a below average card. It's like at least one of these players is evil, at least one of these players is really good. Those clues aren't really gonna help you, and like, especially if it's like at least one of these players is good. These clues, they're not really gonna help you, and stuff. Investigator is even worse because it's just, Investigator is only available in the classic mode with one of the classic roles, but it's just like you get an extra vote, that's it. You get to vote twice, you just get twice. So basically your vote counts for 2 votes, which is just like if you're trying to, you're just going, when you're trying to vote somebody out without, like, if you're a survivor, twin, stuff, Muffin Man, and you don't have a lot of, you don't have a lot of stuff, like, information. So this just means that you don't have any information. I would say if they combine the detective and the investigator, it would become an above average card or in the middle, but the investigator just doesn't really work. Still, it's like a better survivor, but not. Medic, where am I gonna put medic? So I don't wanna put this above average. I don't wanna put this really, really great. At the same time, I don't really want to put it bad because it really is helpful. But as I said earlier, it can be helpful. As I said earlier, the luck-based thing about how the medic lands at the perfect protecting the perfect person from the murderer each time, it just doesn't really work. Your goal is, and I guess if you're the medic, you can preserve your friends, but what you're essentially doing is, I remember once where I just kept protecting the murderer. So it's very like you protect, but you don't know who you're actually protecting, which would ruin this card if you knew who. But at the same time, I would say it would need a slight tweak in balancing to have this become a very good card. I would say this is below the Clown and Assassin. I would say this is below average simply because, well, I can save people. I would say there are other cards better. Muffin Man, really, really great. Let me explain why Muffin Man. Muffin Man builds trust. When you reveal you're the Muffin Man, which is one of the best things you do it and you back it up. It can be blocked by the Witch, the ability to give people a muffin each night, but essentially the evil team won't kill you because you're not important to the good team like a psychic or a medic. They always target the medics or the psychics because they're the ones who do a lot of stuff, but the medics don't at the same time. As I just said, they are really not as good. The Muffin Man really builds trust for being important on their team. It really builds trust. People don't vote you out. People don't kill you. You give people muffins. It really builds the trust out, and it's like, I would say, well, in terms of helping your team stop the murderer, yes, it's good. Why? Because for example, it's more like with these others, they're just like really not doing enough. Whereas the Muffin Man, it doesn't seem like it does enough, to be honest, but it does. It really actually does. Giving a person a muffin each night. You could be giving a new person a muffin each night, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't even affect anything but give you tons of popularity points. It's a joke card, but it gives you tons of popularity points. It's really good. Murderer S tier. It's really the best. I gotta say that. Why is the murderer the best? Because it's the prime killer. It's the reason why. No, crud. Okay, good. It's back. Okay, it's the reason why the whole game exists, because they're trying to stop. Back before they had the evil team and they just had a bunch of good team roles, investigator, medic, survivor, Muffin Man, murderer, psychic. They just had a bunch of that stuff. It was more about, I would argue that the game should end when both the murderer and assassin get killed. But no, the game ends when the team. However, murderer is one of the most important cards in the game. The game ends when all the members of the evil team get killed, sadly, because then there's just this period where, nobody's murdering anyone, so that's really frustrating, because then you're like, is the murderer just faking not doing it? Anyway, murderer! It was the core foundation of the game. It's the most important member on his team simply because it does what it does, and if it's blocked by the medic, that's fine, because it can just try again next time, and really it's like, it's often in communication with like the assassin, maybe the dark psychic, maybe. Psychic is gonna go in is probably gonna go above, in the middle. And no, Psychic really is helpful for the good team. Let me explain why. It's while there's less cohesiveness and teamwork in the good team, well, there is teamwork, but the evil team are more trusting of what another person says they're the evil team, because why would you think that? I would say Psychic is sort of like you're just there. Psychic is sort of like helping tell which player is good at evil. I would say Dark Psychic is helpful because there's more, so it can't tell who the medic is, but it can tell who who not to murder if it's in contact with them. The same thing Psychic can tell who not to vote out because they're on the good team. So if people are trusting of the Psychic, they can understand that. So I understand that perfect. I understand why they do that in essence, because it's like the Psychics for both team are good for different reasons. So I've got to say they're both above average. Savior, really trash card, to be honest. Really trash. Why is it? No, it's not the worst. It's below average. No, it's like the investigator, really, really bad. So on the off chance that a person stays in the game, you can save people with the save. You can save one person for the motive that are murdered. You can like bring them back to life, resurrect them. On the off chance that they stay in the game, you could be resurrected. One of the big things is like you could be resurrecting a Dark Psychic who you think is a Psychic, because Dark Psychic is so high, sort of. And also, you could just be rescuing some survivor who's pretending to be someone important, or you could be rescuing the murderer at the end of the game. Yeah, that is why this is really, really bad. It's not the worst since its ability can be helpful, but it's like it's bad as the investigator because it doesn't really do much to help its team. Scout, jeez. No, just no. Why? No, just no. Really, really bad. Same with Spy. You just get to bug other players, like they're just opposite team. There's not really any real role in the team, and see who they were visited by, which means notes and stuff, which is really like, that's really like bad to like base your accusations on, because notes get dropped every so often, and like it doesn't even show you the notes. It would be helpful if you got to see every one notes, and then they might not get visited by anybody. Those are really bad cards that do almost nothing. Survivor and Twin are the worst because they do literally nothing. No wait, Survivor is really, really bad. Twin is the worst. Survivor is just the basic one, so it's just, there's nothing special about it, nothing bad with it. So, and Twin is just like, your life is linked to your twin, so that's really trash because you don't want to get voted out if your twin is all acting like rude to people for no reason. You don't want to, and also like it's just, you get more of a chance to get murdered, you get more of a chance to get voted out. Just the worst version of the Survivor that shouldn't even be in the game. Witch, great card, to be honest, great card. Block a person's ability, so while this might seem bad in comparison to the medic who can actually, whereas in blocking a person's ability, it's huge. If you find out who the medic is, you can block their ability, which I don't know why you bother. Scout, detective, assassin, murderer. I don't know why you do assassin or murder since you know who they are, I think. No, I don't think you know who they are, but detective, you'll know if you block the murderer and you'll not do it again. You can block the Muffin Man to frame them. You can block the Psychic. I have a ton of experience as the Witch, and it's really fun to play as the Witch simply because you can just block just about anyone. It doesn't matter who they, you can block just about anyone, but also I think it's like you can block all kinds of, you can block the Psychic and you can frame the Muffin Man. You can do all kinds of things to make other players look really dumb, especially if they're that kind of stuff. It's really S tier though. It's like, you can do this. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think about this tier list? What do you think? I don't know, I think it's pretty good. Anyway, goodbye, keep watching, stay random, stay safe, don't wash your hands. Just kidding, totally wash your hands. Everybody just have some fun.